Washington, D.C., 1942. The FBI office on Pennsylvania Avenue smells like burnt coffee and failure. Agent Thomas Donovan stares at the wall map covered in red pins, each one marking a suspected Nazi operative they can't touch, can't prove, can't stop. 500 enemy agents, maybe more, operating freely while American boys die in the Atlantic. Someone in this city is telling Berlin exactly where the convoys sail, and Donovan has no idea who. If you believe stories like this deserve to be told, subscribe now. Across town, in a building that imports textiles from neutral countries, a janitor mops the third floor. His name is Walter Green, 34 years old, Polish immigrant, invisible. He empties trash cans at 2 a.m. when everyone's gone. Tonight, something catches his eye, a crumpled paper in the bin. Blank, completely blank. But when his mop water, mixed with that harsh ammonia cleaner, splashes onto the edge of the trash can, something happens. Letters, faint, brown, appearing like ghosts. Convoy route Halifax confirmed, 14 ships, June 9th. Walter's hands freeze on the mop handle. He looks around the empty office, expensive furniture, locked filing cabinets, a photo on the desk, the company director shaking hands with a senator. Respectable people don't write invisible messages about military convoys. Walter takes the paper, folds it carefully, puts it in his coat. He doesn't know it yet, but he's just found the crack in the Reich's entire American spy network. The next morning, he walks into the FBI field office in Manhattan. The receptionist barely looks at him. "Can I help you?" "I need to report enemy spies." She sighs. They get a dozen of these a day. Paranoid neighbors, jealous coworkers. "Fill out this form. I have proof." He slides the paper across the desk. She glances at it. Blank. "Sir, this is..." "Pour water on it." "Excuse me?" "Just trust me." She's about to call security when a senior agent, Frank Hollis, walks past. Former chemistry teacher, curious by nature. "Let me see that." He takes the paper to the break room, runs it under the tap. Nothing. Walter shakes his head. "Not regular water. You need ammonia. Cleaning solution." Hollis finds a bottle under the sink, dilutes it, brushes it over the paper. The message blooms into view. Hollis goes pale. "Who are you?" "I clean their office, at night." "Where?" Walter tells him. "The import company. Third floor, 4 executives, all with German last names they've Americanized." Hollis makes a phone call, then another. Within an hour, Walter is sitting across from Assistant Director Donovan himself. "You're telling me you found this? How?" "I spilled mop water. It revealed the ink." Donovan leans back. "And you think they're spies because respectable businessmen don't write secret messages about Navy convoys?" Silence. Donovan looks at the paper again. The message is real. The intelligence is accurate. That convoy is sailing June 9th. If the enemy knows this, men will die. "Can you get me more?" Walter nods. "Then get me everything. Every piece of trash, every blank paper. And if they catch me?" Donovan doesn't answer that question, but they both know what happens to people who cross the Reich. Walter goes back to work that night. His hands shake as he unlocks the office door. He empties the trash cans as usual, but this time he checks every piece of paper, every discarded note. Most are genuinely blank, but 3 papers. 3 reveal messages when he tests them in the storage closet with his cleaning solution. Submarine positions off Cape Cod, production numbers from a Pennsylvania steel mill, and a list. 15 names, American names, with the word activated written next to each one. Walter photographs them with a camera the FBI gave him. His fingers barely work. He's putting everything back when he hears it. Footsteps. The office door opens. Someone's here. At 2 a.m. Walter kills his flashlight, presses himself against the storage closet wall. A man's voice. German accent, speaking low into a telephone. "Yeah, the package is ready." Wednesday. Grand Central. Track 17. Silence as he listens. And the janitor? Walter stops breathing. No, he's harmless, just some Polak, doesn't even speak English well. The man laughs, hangs up, walks right past the closet. Walter waits 20 minutes after the footsteps fade before he moves. When he finally emerges, there's something new on the executive's desk that wasn't there before. A leather folder, unlocked. Inside, photographs, dozens of them. American soldiers, ships, factories, weapons, and faces. FBI agents, their home addresses handwritten underneath. Walter recognizes one of the faces. Agent Hollis, the man who believed him. His address is circled in red. At the bottom of the folder, a single typed note. Witnesses or liabilities. Eliminate by June 7th. Walter runs. He doesn't stop running until he's at the FBI office, pounding on the locked door at 3 a.m., screaming for someone to listen. When Hollis finally opens the door, Walter shoves the photographs into his hands. They know. They know about me. About you. They're going to... Hollis looks at his own face in the photo, his home address, his wife's name. He looks up at Walter. How many of them are there? I don't know, but they have pictures of dozens of your agents. Hollis makes the call that changes everything. By dawn, the director of the FBI himself is in the room. Show me this technique. Walter demonstrates. Blank paper, ammonia solution, hidden message revealed. The director watches in silence. Then, how many locations do they operate from? I only know the one. But if they're using this method everywhere, the realization hits them all at once. Every suspected Nazi front, every neutral company, every suspicious office building they've been watching for months, all that trash they've been ignoring, all those blank papers. The director looks at Walter Green, this janitor, this immigrant, this invisible man. Can you teach others to do this? Yes. How fast? A few hours. The director checks his watch. You have until midnight tonight. We move in 7 days. Move where? The director spreads a map across the table. Red pins, dozens of them. Locations across New York, Washington, Boston, Philadelphia. Everywhere at once. Walter stares at the map. And if the method doesn't work at the other sites? The director's face is stone. Then 500 Nazi agents stay operational, and the invasion of North Africa fails before it begins. He hands Walter a list of 20 FBI agents. Train them, personally. Tell no one else, not even other agents. Why? The director points to the photographs on the table, the compromised agents. Because we don't know who else is working for them. Walter looks at the faces in the photos again. Some of them are in this building, right now. The director leans close. If you're wrong about this technique, Mr. Green, a lot of good men are going to die raiding empty offices if you're right. He doesn't finish the sentence. Walter understands. If he's right, they've just found the key to destroying the entire Nazi intelligence network in America. If he's wrong, he's just convinced the FBI to blow their cover on every surveillance operation they've been running for 2 years. One more thing, the director says. The people you're investigating, the ones who want you dead? Yes? They don't know we know yet, which means you have to go back. Back? To work tonight, like nothing happened. Walter's blood goes cold. They'll kill me. Only if they suspect you. Right now, you're just the harmless janitor who doesn't speak English well. The director's eyes are merciless. We need you to keep them thinking that for 6 more days. Walter thinks of his wife, his daughter, the life he built after escaping Poland, and if they figure it out before then? The director says nothing, because they both know the answer. Walter would simply disappear. No body, no investigation. Just another immigrant who went home one day and never came back. I'll do it, Walter says quietly. That night he returns to the office. His keys rattle as he unlocks the door. His hands won't stop shaking. The building is dark, silent. He mops the floors like always, but this time he knows he's being watched. And somewhere in this building, someone is writing another message in invisible ink. A message that might have his name on it. The next morning, Walter teaches 20 FBI agents how to see invisible ink with a mop and ammonia. They stand in a basement room in Lower Manhattan. No windows. One locked door. "You're joking," Agent Morrison says, staring at the bucket of cleaning solution. Walter doesn't smile. The Germans use iron-based invisible ink. Oxidizes when exposed to alkaline compounds. Basic chemistry. He demonstrates. Blank paper, mop water, hidden message appears. Ship manifest 400 tons steel, Liverpool route. The agents go silent. Morrison picks up the paper. "Jesus Christ. Now you do it," Walter says. For 3 hours they practice. Different papers, different concentrations. Learning to spot the telltale texture of paper that's been written on with invisible ink versus paper that's truly blank. By noon, all 20 can do it blindfolded. Agent Hollis pulls Walter aside. "We've identified 47 locations we think are Nazi fronts, import companies, law offices, cultural centers. We're assigning agents to each one. As janitors? As janitors. Overnight cleaning crews, maintenance workers, anyone who can access trash without suspicion." Hollis hands him a folder. "These are your assignments for the next 6 days. You keep working your original location. But now you're also training new agents as they rotate through." Walter opens the folder. His blood runs cold. "This is 12 locations." "Correct. You want me to clean 12 different buildings? In 6 days?" "We need you to verify the technique works everywhere, not just your original site." "That's impossible. It's necessary." Walter looks at the addresses, spread across Manhattan and Brooklyn, some in dangerous neighborhoods. One in a German consulate building. "If I'm seen at multiple locations, they'll know. Then don't be seen." That night, Walter works his regular shift at the import company. Everything normal. Empty trash, mop floors, stay invisible. But now he's checking every discarded paper, every crumpled note. He finds 4 messages. One about troop trains leaving Chicago. One about a weapons factory in Connecticut. One containing a phone number and the words "call if compromised." And one that makes his hands go numb. "FBI surveillance detected on 3 locations. Recommend evacuation protocol." They know. Not about Walter specifically. But they know the FBI is closing in. Which means the 7-day timeline just became critical. If the Nazis evacuate before the raids, everything disappears. Walter photographs the messages with trembling fingers, hides the camera in his mop bucket. He's leaving through the service exit when he hears voices. 2 men, speaking German, coming down the hallway. Walter ducks into a storage room, peers through the crack in the door. The company director and another man. Expensive suit, face Walter's never seen before. "We should shut down the New York operation," the director says in German. "Move everything to Philadelphia." Berlin says no, we're too close to the Atlantic convoy routes. The intelligence is too valuable. But if the FBI suspects everyone. They have no proof, they never do. The director isn't convinced. What about the cleaning man, the Polak? Walter stops breathing. What about him? He's been here 2 years, never misses a shift, very thorough. So maybe too thorough. The stranger laughs. You think a janitor is a spy? Look at him. He can barely read. Still, I want him watched. Fine, put Heinrich on it. If the janitor does anything suspicious, Heinrich knows what to do. They walk away. Walter waits until their footsteps fade. Then he runs. He makes it 3 blocks before he realizes he's being followed. A man in a gray coat. Keeping distance. Professional. Heinrich. Walter turns into an alley, then another. Trying to lose him in the maze of streets near the Brooklyn Bridge, but Heinrich stays with him. Closer now. Walter's not trained for this. He's a janitor. A father. A man who just wanted to live quietly. He sees a subway entrance, rushes down the stairs. The platform is empty. 2:47 a.m. No trains for another 8 minutes. Heinrich's footsteps echo down the stairwell. Walter backs against the wall, nowhere to run. Heinrich emerges onto the platform, smiling. You move fast for a janitor. Walter says nothing, his English suddenly worse than usual. I go home. Late shift finish. Interesting. Heinrich walks closer. Because I watched you tonight. You took pictures of trash. Pictures? No. I don't lie. Heinrich's hand moves to his coat pocket. Who do you work for? Walter's mind races. He could run, but Heinrich would shoot him in the back. He could fight, but Heinrich is trained and Walter isn't. Then he hears it. A train. Coming fast. Last chance, Heinrich says. Who sent you? Walter looks at the tracks. The train is close. 30 seconds maybe. Nobody sent me, Walter says quietly. I just clean. Heinrich pulls out a pistol, and Walter does the only thing he can think of. He throws the mop bucket, dirty water, ammonia, cleaning solution, right in Heinrich's face. Heinrich screams, claws at his eyes. The chemical burns. Walter runs, jumps onto the train as the doors close. Through the window he sees Heinrich on the platform, blinded, furious, radioing someone. Walter gets off at the next stop, then the next, switching trains, changing direction. By the time he reaches the FBI safe house in Queens, the sun is rising. Agent Hollis opens the door, sees Walter's face. What happened? They know. They're watching me. One of their men tried to... Did you kill him? No. But he saw my face clearly. He knows I took photographs. Hollis curses, pulls Walter inside. We move tonight then. Not in 6 days. Tonight. But the other agents aren't ready. They'll have to be. Hollis picks up the phone. Because if they know about you, they'll evacuate everything by morning. Within an hour, the director arrives. 20 agents crowd into the safe house. Here's the situation, the director says. Our cover's blown. We have maybe 12 hours before they disappear, so we hit every location simultaneously. Tonight, 9 p.m. Agent Morrison shakes his head. We've only trained 20 people on the technique. You're talking about raiding 47 locations. Then we prioritize. Which sites are most critical? They spread maps across the table. Debate. Argue. Walter watches silently. Finally, he speaks. You're thinking about this wrong. Everyone looks at him. You want to catch the spies, but what you really want is to stop the intelligence from reaching Berlin. Same thing, Morrison says. No. Walter points to the map. The spies are just messengers. What matters is the messages. You don't need to raid every location. You need to find their central transmission point. Which is where? I don't know, but I know how to find out. Walter pulls out the photographs from tonight, points to one message. Call if compromised. There's a phone number. Someone answers that phone. Probably 24 hours a day. That's your transmission center. Hollis stares at the number. We trace this, we find their headquarters. Exactly. The director nods slowly. Do it. Within 30 minutes, they have an address. A radio repair shop in Midtown Manhattan, closed to the public. But the lights are always on. That's it, the director says. That's their hub. So we raid it, Morrison says. No. Walter shakes his head. You raid it, they destroy everything. You need someone inside first. Someone they don't suspect. We don't have anyone. You have me. Silence. Hollis stands. Absolutely not. They just tried to kill you. Heinrich tried to kill me, but he's not at the radio shop and nobody there knows my face yet. You think you can just walk in? I'm a janitor. Buildings need janitors. I apply for a job, work one shift, find out what they're transmitting, where the records are kept. And then? Then you raid it, before they know I'm FBI. The director studies Walter for a long moment. You understand if this goes wrong, we can't protect you. I understand. And you're willing to risk it anyway. Walter thinks of his daughter, his wife, the life they built in America. If we don't stop them, how many soldiers die? The director extends his hand. "You're a braver man than most of my agents." Walter shakes it. "I'm just a janitor who knows how to clean up messes." By 4 p.m., Walter is standing outside the radio repair shop, holding a handwritten job application. He pushes open the door. A bell chimes. The man behind the counter looks up. Older, gray hair, friendly smile. "Can I help you?" "I'm looking for work. Cleaning. Night shift. We don't need... I work cheap. Very good cleaner. References." The man hesitates, then looks toward a back room. Someone else is back there. Walter hears a radio crackling. Morse code. Fast. The man turns back to Walter. "Actually, our regular cleaner quit yesterday. When can you start?" Walter forces himself to breathe normally. "Tonight?" "Perfect. 10 p.m. Use the back entrance." Walter nods. Leaves. Outside, he walks 3 blocks before his legs give out. He sits on a bench, hands shaking. In 6 hours, he'll be inside the Nazi transmission center, surrounded by enemy agents, with no weapon, no backup, no way out if they realize who he is. Agent Hollis sits down next to him. "You don't have to do this." "Yes, I do." "Why?" Walter pulls out a photograph from his wallet. His daughter, 8 years old, smiling. "Because I want her to grow up in a country where people like me matter, where an immigrant janitor can make a difference." Hollis nods slowly. "Then let's make sure you survive to see it." They go over the plan one more time. Walter goes in at 10 p.m., acts natural, cleans. But while he's cleaning, he looks for 3 things: records of transmissions, names of agents, and the radio equipment itself. At 11 p.m., FBI teams will be positioned outside, waiting. If Walter finds what they need, he opens a window. That's the signal. They come in fast, arrest everyone, seize everything. "And if something goes wrong?" Walter asks. Hollis hands him a small pill. "Cyanide. If they catch you, if they start to torture you." Walter stares at it. "I won't need it." "Take it anyway." Walter pockets the pill. At 9:45 p.m., he walks to the back entrance of the radio shop. His hand is steady as he knocks. The door opens. A different man, younger, suspicious eyes. "You're the new cleaner?" "Yes." "ID." Walter hands over his forged papers. "The FBI made them this afternoon." The man studies them. Takes too long. Walter's heart hammers. Finally, "Come in." Walter steps inside. The door locks behind him. The back room smells like cigarettes and hot metal. 3 men, 2 radios, stacks of papers everywhere. They barely glance at Walter as he enters with his cleaning cart. "Don't touch the equipment," one of them says in English, heavy accent. "Just floors and trash." Walter nods, keeps his eyes down, starts mopping near the door. The radios crackle constantly. Morse code. 1 man transcribing, another encoding responses, the third sorting papers into folders marked with different city names: Boston, Philadelphia, Chicago, San Francisco. Walter works slowly, methodically, getting closer to the desk. The transcriber doesn't look up. "You speak German?" "Little bit." Walter lies. "Not good." "Good. Keep it that way." Walter empties a trash can. Inside, crumpled papers, some with visible text, some suspiciously blank. He palms 3 blank ones, slides them into his pocket. Nobody notices. He moves to the next desk, the one with the folders. The sorter stands. "I need coffee. Watch him." He points at Walter. The transcriber nods without looking away from his radio. The sorter leaves. Now it's just Walter and 2 men, the transcriber, and the encoder hunched over a codebook. Walter mops closer, sees the encoder's papers, lists, hundreds of names, American names, with notations beside them. Henderson James, activated Kozlowski Maria, Courier Thompson Robert, terminated Walter's blood turns to ice. These aren't just spies. These are American citizens, recruited, blackmailed, killed. He needs to photograph this, but the camera is in his cart, across the room. He glances at the window, the signal window, still locked. The encoder stands, stretches. I'm going for a smoke. 5 minutes. He walks out. Now it's just Walter and the transcriber. Walter moves toward his cart, reaches for the camera hidden in the false bottom. The transcriber's chair scrapes. What are you doing? Getting. More cleaning solution. You have solution right there. Empty. Need more. The transcriber stands, walks over. Suspicious now. Walter's hand is inside the cart, fingers on the camera. The transcriber looks at the cart, then at Walter. You're very thorough for a janitor. I do good job. Too good. The transcriber's hand moves to his belt. There's a gun there. Walter has 3 seconds. He throws the mop. Handle first. It hits the transcriber in the throat. The man gags. Stumbles back. Walter grabs the camera, photographs the name lists, the code book, everything on the desk. The transcriber recovers, reaches for his gun. Walter throws the ammonia bottle. It shatters against the wall. Fumes everywhere. The transcriber fires blind. The bullet hits the radio. Sparks, smoke. Walter runs to the window, unlocks it, throws it open. That's the signal. Outside, he hears engines, car doors, shouting. The FBI is coming. The transcriber fires again. This time the bullet hits Walter's shoulder. He goes down. Pain explodes through his arm. The back door bursts open. Agent Hollis, gun drawn. FBI, hands up. The transcriber turns to fire. Hollis shoots first. The transcriber drops. More agents flood in, securing the room, seizing documents. Hollis kneels beside Walter. How bad? I got the photographs. That's not what I asked. Walter hands him the camera, blood soaking through his shirt. The lists. They have hundreds of names, Americans working for them. Hollis takes the camera, looks at the papers spread across the desk. His face goes white. Jesus Christ. Agent Morrison runs in. Sir, we have a problem. What? There are 4 other locations, connected by telephone lines to this one. They heard the gunshots. They're destroying evidence right now. Hollis stands. How many teams do we have ready? 12. But the other locations are spread across the city. Then we split up, hit as many as we can. Walter tries to stand, falls. I can help. You've done enough. Hollis signals a medic. Get him to a hospital. Wait. Walter grabs Hollis's arm. The blank papers in my pocket, test them. Hollis pulls out the crumpled papers Walter took from the trash. He calls for ammonia solution. An agent brings it. They brush it over the papers. Messages appear, 3 of them. The first contains addresses, safe houses across America. The second lists ship movements for the next 2 months. The third is worse. Assassination target confirmed, FBI director. Location, Georgetown residence. Date, June 14th. 4 days from now. Hollis shows it to Morrison. Get the director to a secure location, now. Already calling. Hollis turns back to Walter. This technique of yours, does it work on other surfaces? Wood? Metal? Walter nods weakly. Anything porous. Why? Because we just realized something. If they're writing messages and throwing them away, they might be writing on other things too. Exactly. Within an hour, FBI teams are hitting locations across New York. But now they're not just checking trash. They're testing everything. Desk surfaces, file folders, book covers, wall calendars. Every surface that could hide invisible writing. At a law office in Brooklyn, they find an entire filing cabinet of blank legal pads. Ammonia reveals 16 months of coded transmissions. At a cultural center in the Bronx, they test the guest book. Every visitor who signed in was really passing intelligence. Names, dates, drop locations. At an import warehouse in Queens, they check shipping manifests. The visible entries show textiles and ceramics. The invisible entries show weapons shipments and agent payments. By midnight, they've seized 43 locations. By 3 a.m., they've arrested 217 people. By dawn, the number is 394, and they're still counting. At the FBI command center, Hollis spreads the evidence across a conference table. Thousands of documents, hundreds of photographs, lists of names that go on for pages. The director walks in, exhausted, alive. How many? 512 arrests so far. More coming in every hour. American citizens? 173 of them. The rest are foreign nationals. The director sits down heavily. In one night. In one night. Because of a janitor with a mop. Hollis nods. We never would have found this without him. Where is he now? Hospital. Gunshot wound. He'll live. The director is quiet for a long moment. I want him given a commendation. Publicly. Sir, if we do that, we reveal the technique. Other intelligence services will adapt. Then we don't mention the technique. We just say he provided crucial information. That still puts a target on his back. The Germans have long memories. The director looks at the evidence. The lives saved. The operations disrupted. Then we give him a choice: recognition and risk, or anonymity and safety. 3 days later, Walter wakes up in a hospital bed. His arm is bandaged. The pain is manageable. Agent Hollis sits in the chair beside him. How do you feel? Like I got shot. That's accurate. Hollis sets a folder on the bed. We need to talk about what happens next. I go home, back to work. Not that simple. The people we arrested, they have friends in Germany, in America, in places we don't know about yet. So they know you're the one who exposed them. Walter's stomach drops. How? Heinrich, the man who chased you in the subway. He survived. He's talking, trying to cut a deal. He knows where I live. Yes. Walter thinks of his wife, his daughter. What are my options? Hollis opens the folder. Option 1, witness protection. New identities for you and your family. New city, new lives. You disappear. And option 2? The director wants to give you a medal, public ceremony, recognition for your service. Which makes me a permanent target. Yes. Walter looks out the window. The city he escaped to. The life he built. If I disappear, who gets credit for the operation? The FBI, generic press release, no names. So the technique stays secret. Correct, we can keep using it. Walter is quiet for a long time. How many agents did we catch? 512 confirmed. Maybe 200 more connected to the network. How many lives does that save? Impossible to calculate. Thousands, maybe tens of thousands. Walter closes his eyes. I have a daughter. She's 8 years old. I want her to be safe. Then we move you, tonight if possible. But I also want her to be proud, to know that her father mattered. Hollis leans forward. You can't have both. I know. Walter opens his eyes, makes his decision. Tell the director thank you, but no medal, no ceremony. You're sure? I'm sure. My family stays safe. The technique stays secret. That's worth more than recognition. Hollis nods slowly. For what it's worth, you're the bravest man I've ever met. I'm just a janitor who got lucky. You're a patriot who saved his country. 2 weeks later, Walter Green and his family board a train to California. New names, new papers, new lives. The FBI files are sealed. The operation is classified. Officially, it never happened. But in Berlin, the Abwehr intelligence headquarters receives devastating news. Their entire American network, gone. Years of work, hundreds of agents, millions of dollars, destroyed in 7 days. They never figure out how. They suspect FBI infiltration, a mole, a breakthrough in code breaking. They never suspect a janitor with a mop. And back in New York, in a basement archive that won't be opened for 50 years, there's a file, marked, classified. Inside, photographs, evidence, names, and a single handwritten note from Director Donovan. This operation succeeded because one man believed that cleaning up trash could change the world. He was right. We owe him everything, and we can never tell anyone his name. The file is sealed on June 20th, 1942. It won't be declassified until 1997. By then, Walter Green has been dead for 29 years. His daughter never knew what he did. His grandchildren never knew he was a hero. But the thousands of soldiers who lived because the convoys weren't ambushed, the families who weren't murdered by sleeper agents, the intelligence operations that succeeded because the enemy was blind. They owe their lives to a man who mopped floors and paid attention. California, 1943. Walter Green lives in a small house in Pasadena now. New name, William Grant. New job, factory supervisor at a defense plant. His daughter goes to school. His wife works at a hospital. They don't talk about New York, but Walter can't stop thinking about it because he knows something the FBI doesn't. The night he was shot, the night they raided the radio shop, he saw something. A fourth man, standing in the shadows of the back hallway, watching, never moving. Walter mentioned it to Agent Hollis at the hospital. Hollis checked. "We arrested 3 men at that location. You probably saw one of them twice." No, this was someone else, older, gray beard. He was just observing. Observing what? Me. The whole time I was cleaning. Like he knew. Hollis made a note. Promised to investigate, but Walter never heard back. Now, 6 months later, he can't shake the feeling. That fourth man wasn't arrested, which means he's still out there, still working for Berlin, still knowing what Walter's face looks like. Walter tells himself he's paranoid. The FBI got everyone, the network is destroyed. Then he starts noticing things, small things. A car parked across the street. Different car. Same driver. A man at the grocery store watching him. Gone when Walter looks again. A phone call. Heavy breathing. Then silence. His wife notices. "What's wrong?" "Nothing. You checked the locks 5 times before bed." "Just being careful." "William." She uses his new name. "Talk to me." He wants to, but he can't. Because if he tells her the truth, that he's not really William Grant, that they're in hiding, that people might still be hunting him, she'll panic. Better to keep watching, keep waiting, see if the paranoia fades. It doesn't. One night in August, Walter comes home late from the factory. The front door is unlocked. He always locks it, always. He pushes it open slowly. "Helen? Sarah?" No answer. The living room looks normal, nothing disturbed, but something feels wrong. Walter walks through the house. Kitchen, empty. Bedrooms, empty. Then he sees it. On the kitchen table, a single piece of paper. Blank. His hands shake as he picks it up. He goes to the sink, wets the paper with dish soap. Letters appear. "We need to talk. Come alone. Griffith Park, Observatory, midnight. Bring your family and they die." Walter reads it 3 times. Then he burns it in the sink. He checks his watch. 9:47 p.m. He has 2 hours. He could call the FBI, but the phone might be tapped. He could run, but they have his family. Or he goes, alone, and finds out what they want. At 11:30 p.m., Walter drives to Griffith Park. The observatory sits on the hilltop. Dark, closed for the night. Walter parks, walks up the empty path. His footsteps echo. At the top, a figure waits, silhouetted against the city lights. The man from the radio shop. Gray beard, calm eyes, expensive suit. "Mr. Green," or should I say, Mr. Grant. Walter says nothing. "You're wondering about your family. They're safe, for now, at a friend's house. They think you sent them there for a surprise." "What do you want?" The man smiles. "To offer you a job." Walter stares. "You're insane." "Am I?" "You single-handedly destroyed the largest intelligence network in American history. That's impressive." "So you want revenge?" "No. I want talent." The man lights a cigarette. "Do you know who I am?" "A Nazi. A pragmatist. I work for whoever pays best. Right now, that's the German government. Tomorrow?" He shrugs. "We'll see. I'm not interested." "You haven't heard the offer. $1 million. American. Tax-free. Deposited in a Swiss account." Walter laughs bitterly. To do what? What you do best. Find things people want hidden. The FBI taught you their techniques, their procedures, their weaknesses. And in return, you helped me rebuild. New network, better security. Lessons learned from your brilliant mop trick. Walter looks at this man, this monster. You killed American soldiers. I provided information. Soldiers die in war. That's not my fault. You murdered civilians. I eliminated security risks. Again, not personal. You recruited Americans to betray their country. I offered them money. They chose to accept. The man flicks ash off his cigarette. Everyone has a price, Mr. Green. What's yours? You think I'd work for you? I think you're a man who spent 2 years mopping floors for poverty wages, who risked his life for a country that won't even acknowledge what you did, who's hiding in California under a fake name because the FBI couldn't protect you properly. The man steps closer. I think you're tired, and scared, and wondering if it was worth it. Walter is quiet for a long moment. My daughter is 8 years old. I know. If I say no, you'll kill her. No. If you say no, I'll kill you, and then I'll recruit her when she's older. Children are easier to mold. Walter's vision goes red, but he forces himself to stay calm. You said you were pragmatic, not a Nazi, just a businessman. Correct. Then here's a better offer. Walk away now. Disappear. I never tell the FBI you exist. You never contact my family again. The man laughs. And why would I accept that? Because the FBI didn't catch everyone. You're proof, which means their investigation isn't over. They're still looking, still testing papers, still finding hidden networks. Walter steps closer. And right now, I'm the only person alive who knows what you look like. The man's smile fades. If I tell them about you, describe you, tell them you were at the radio shop, they'll find you. Eventually. Maybe takes a year, maybe 5, but they'll find you. You're bluffing. Am I? Walter pulls out a piece of paper. I wrote down everything I remember about you. Height, age, accent, the scar on your left hand, the way you stand, the cigarettes you smoke. He holds up the paper. This goes to the FBI if anything happens to me or my family. Mailed automatically. I set it up 3 months ago. The man's eyes narrow. You've been planning this. I've been surviving this. They stare at each other. Finally, the man speaks. You're smarter than I thought. I'm a janitor who pays attention. What guarantees do I have that you won't turn me in anyway? None. Just like I have no guarantee you'll leave us alone. We'll both have to trust each other. Trust. The man considers. An interesting concept between enemies. We're not enemies, we're survivors. The man finishes his cigarette, drops it, crushes it under his heel. All right, Mr. Green, you win this round, but answer me one question. What? Was it worth it, destroying the network, saving those soldiers? All while knowing you'd spend the rest of your life looking over your shoulder. Walter thinks about it, about the convoy that made it to Liverpool, about the soldiers who lived to see their families again, about the intelligence that never reached Berlin. Yes. The man nods slowly. Then you're a better man than me. He walks away, disappears into the darkness. Walter stands there for 10 minutes, making sure he's really gone. Then he runs to his car, drives to the address the man mentioned. His wife and daughter are there. Safe, confused, but safe. William, what's happening? We're leaving, tonight. Pack what you can carry. Leaving where? I'll explain on the road. They drive through the night, east, toward Arizona. No plan, no destination, just distance. At a gas station in the desert, Walter finally tells his wife everything. Who he really is. What he really did. Why they're really running. She listens in silence. When he finishes, she asks one question. Are we safe? I don't know. Then we keep moving. They change their names again and again. New Mexico, Texas, Louisiana, always moving. Never staying longer than 6 months. Walter takes odd jobs. Cleaning, maintenance, things he's good at. His daughter grows up on the road. She learns not to ask questions, not to make close friends. By 1945, the war ends. Walter reads the newspapers, the celebrations, the victory parades. He knows the part he played, the lives he saved. Nobody else does. And that's fine, because he's still alive. His family is still alive. That's victory enough. But in 1947, something changes. Walter is working at a bus station in Georgia, mopping floors, old habits. A man walks up to him, young, nervous, FBI identification. William Grant? Walter tenses. That's me. I'm Agent Carson, we need to talk. They sit in a diner. Carson slides a folder across the table. We found him. Found who? The man from Griffith Park, the one you described in your letter to Agent Hollis. Walter opens the folder. Photographs, documents, names. The gray-bearded man from the radio shop. His real name is Victor Konstantin, former Abwehr, now working for the Soviets. Walter's blood goes cold. The Soviets? The war changed everything. Former enemies are now our problem. And Konstantin is very good at his job. Why are you telling me this? Carson leans forward. Because we need your help, again. No. He's building a new network, right here in America, recruiting former Nazi operatives, using techniques we don't fully understand. I said no. Mr. Green, that's not my name anymore. We know, you've had 4 names in 5 years. But you're still the man who destroyed an entire spy network with cleaning supplies and attention to detail. Walter stands to leave. Carson grabs his arm. He knows where you are. Walter freezes. How? We don't know, but 3 weeks ago, we intercepted a transmission from Moscow. It mentioned the janitor. Said he was a loose end that needed tying up. You think he's coming for me? I think he never forgot about you. Walter sits back down. What do you want? We want to catch him, but we can't. He's too careful, too smart. Every time we get close, he disappears. So? So we need bait. Someone he wants. Someone he'll take risks for. Walter understands. Me. You. And if it goes wrong? Then witness protection, permanent, new identities for life. We'll make sure he never finds you. Walter looks at the photograph of Konstantin, the man who threatened his daughter, the man who's still out there, still recruiting, still sending intelligence to enemies of America. I have one condition. Name it. My family doesn't know. They think we're safe. I want them to stay thinking that. Carson nods. Deal. Walter takes a breath. Then tell me the plan. And just like that, the janitor goes back to war. The plan is simple. Walter goes back to cleaning offices, but this time in a building the FBI knows Victor Konstantin is watching. A textile company in Atlanta, front for Soviet intelligence, under surveillance for 8 months. Walter applies for the night janitor position, gets hired immediately. Too immediately. They wanted you specifically, Agent Carson says during the briefing, which means Konstantin told them to hire you. So he knows it's a trap. Probably, but he'll spring it anyway, because he's arrogant, and because he thinks he's smarter than us. Is he? Carson doesn't answer that. Walter starts work on a Monday night in September 1947. The building is quiet, 5 floors, mostly empty after 8 p.m. He mops the lobby, empties trash, acts normal, but he's wearing a wire. FBI agents are positioned in 3 locations outside. If anything happens, they're 30 seconds away. Walter takes the elevator to the 3rd floor, executive offices. The door to the corner office is unlocked. He pushes it open. A man sits at the desk. Not Konstantin, younger. American accent. You're the new cleaner? Yes, sir. This office doesn't need cleaning. Move along. Walter backs out, but not before he sees what's on the desk. Maps, European maps, with marks that look like military installations. He goes to the 4th floor. 2 women working late, typing. They don't look up as he cleans. But Walter notices their typewriters, special modifications, extra keys, not standard equipment. encryption machines disguised as typewriters. He's definitely in the right building. On the 5th floor, he finds something else. A locked door. No nameplate. No markings. Walter tries his master key. It doesn't work. He's about to leave when he hears it. A voice. Speaking Russian. Coming from inside the locked room. Then another voice. Also Russian. Then a third voice. German accent. Konstantin. Walter presses his ear to the door. The American networks are weak. Their counterintelligence is still using outdated methods. Another voice. What about the janitor, the one from New York? He's downstairs right now, working his shift like a good little immigrant. And you're certain he's not FBI? Konstantin laughs. He's FBI bait. They think I'll try to kill him. Instead, I'm going to recruit him. He refused once. That was before I had leverage. Now I have something better. What? His real identity, Walter Green, currently living in Georgia as William Grant. But before that, he was someone else. And before that, someone else again. Konstantin's voice gets quieter. Our research department found something interesting. Walter Green entered America in 1938, but there's no record of him before that. No birth certificate in Poland, no immigration papers, no family records. So Walter Green doesn't exist. He's a fiction, which means whoever he really is, he's already running from something. Walter's blood turns to ice. I don't know what he's hiding, but I don't need to. I just need him to know that I know he's hiding something. That's leverage enough. The door opens. Walter stumbles back. Konstantin stands there, smiling. Ah, Mr. Green, right on time. Come in. We have much to discuss. Walter runs, down the stairs. Not the elevator. Too slow. 4th floor. 3rd floor. Behind him, footsteps. Multiple men. Chasing. 2nd floor. The FBI agents outside can't help. They're waiting for the signal. Walter hasn't given it yet. 1st floor. He bursts into the lobby. 3 men waiting, blocking the exit. Walter is trapped. Konstantin walks down the stairs slowly, casually. You're making this more difficult than necessary. I'm not interested in your offer. You haven't heard my new offer. Konstantin pulls out a file. Old, yellowed papers. Let's talk about Waldemar Grunberg. Walter goes white. That's right. I know your real name. The name you had before you became Walter Green, before you fled Poland in 1938. Konstantin opens the file. Waldemar Grunberg, minor official in the Polish government, access to military records, who sold secrets to German intelligence in 1937. That's a lie. Is it? Because I have signed documents. Your signature, authorizing payments for classified information. Those are forged. Are they? Or are you a hypocrite? A former spy for Germany who switched sides when it was convenient? Walter's mind races. The documents are fake. They have to be. But if Konstantin shows them to the FBI, if the FBI thinks Walter was ever a German agent, everything he did becomes suspect, his testimony becomes worthless, his family loses protection. What do you want? The same thing I wanted before, your expertise, your techniques. But now I'm offering more than money. Konstantin holds up the file. I'm offering silence. Work for me and these documents disappear. Refuse and I give them to the FBI, plus newspapers, plus everyone you know. My family will discover that Daddy was a Nazi collaborator, that you were never the hero you pretended to be. Walter looks at the exits, all blocked. The FBI is outside, but if he signals them now, Konstantin's men will kill him before they breach the doors. I need time to think. You have 30 seconds. Walter's hand moves to his chest. The wire. The panic button. Konstantin sees it. Don't. Or what? Or I push this. Konstantin holds up a detonator. Small. Red button. There are explosives in 3 locations in this building: basement, 3rd floor, roof, enough to bring it down. You'd kill your own people. Acceptable losses. The important files are already moved. But the FBI agents outside, they'll rush in when the building collapses. Try to rescue survivors, and that's when the real bombs go off. Walter freezes. Car bombs, outside. Hidden in vehicles parked on every block, timed to explode 5 minutes after the building falls. Constantine smiles. So go ahead. Push your button. Signal your FBI friends. Let them run into a death trap. Walter's hand drops. That's better. Now. Your answer. Work for me. Or watch everyone die. Walter looks around the lobby, at the men blocking exits, at Constantine holding a detonator, at the building full of innocent people. Then he looks at the fire alarm on the wall. I have a counteroffer. I'm listening. Let me evacuate the building first, then we talk. No. Then I push the panic button. Right now. FBI comes in. Building explodes. You die with everyone else. Constantine's smile fades. You're bluffing. Am I? They stare at each other. Finally, Constantine nods. Fine. Pull the fire alarm. Evacuate the building. But my men stay with you. Any signal to the FBI and I detonate immediately. Walter walks to the fire alarm. 2 of Constantine's men follow. He pulls it. Sirens wail. Lights flash. People start emerging from offices. Confused. Annoyed. Everyone out, Walter yells. Fire alarm. Standard procedure. Everyone out now. They file out slowly. Too slowly. Walter sees the 2 women from the 4th floor. The ones with the encryption typewriters. They're carrying briefcases, trying to evacuate the documents. Leave everything, Walter shouts. Just get out. They hesitate. One of Constantine's men puts a hand on his gun. The women drop the briefcases and run. 5 minutes. The building empties. Just Walter, Constantine, and 6 armed men remain. Satisfied? Constantine asks. Almost. Walter reaches into his cleaning cart, pulls out a bottle, ammonia solution. He throws it at the briefcases the women dropped. The bottles breaks. Solution splashes everywhere. The papers inside the briefcases start changing color. Messages appearing. Names, addresses, codes. What did you do? Constantine screams. Your people evacuated the important files, but they forgot about the copies in those briefcases. Now the FBI will have everything. Constantine's face goes purple. You just signed your death warrant. Maybe, but I saved everyone in this building. Constantine raises the detonator. Not everyone. He pushes the button. Nothing happens. Constantine pushes it again. And again. Still nothing. Walter smiles. The FBI's been in this building for 3 days. They found your explosives yesterday. Disarmed them this morning. Constantine's eyes go wide. But the car bombs, also disarmed. You really think we'd let you rig an entire city block? Constantine reaches for his gun. The windows shatter. FBI agents pour in. Dozens of them. Hands up! Everyone hands up! Constantine's men drop their weapons immediately, but Constantine fires at Walter. Agent Carson tackles Walter. The bullet hits the wall. 2 agents shoot Constantine. He goes down. Blood spreading across his expensive suit. Carson helps Walter up. You okay? Define okay. They walk over to Constantine. He's still alive, barely. The file, Walter says. The one with Waldemar Grunberg's name. Constantine coughs blood. In my jacket. Carson pulls it out, opens it, looks at the documents, then at Walter. These are forgeries. I know. And Waldemar Grunberg never existed. Constantine made him up to blackmail me. Carson flips through the pages. Damn good forgeries, though. Would have fooled most people. But not you, not me. Carson closes the file. Want to know how I knew? How? Because I read your real file, the classified one. I know exactly who you were before you came to America. Walter tenses. And you've been running from guilt that isn't yours. But that's a conversation for another day. Constantine tries to speak, chokes on blood. You were never just a janitor. Yes, I was, Walter says quietly. That's all I ever wanted to be. Constantine dies with a confused look on his face, like he never understood how someone so ordinary could be so dangerous. 3 weeks later, Walter sits in an FBI office in Washington, D.C. Director Donovan is there. Older now. Tired. We've dismantled Constantine's network. 43 arrests. Seized enough documents to keep us busy for years. Good. You did exceptional work, Mr. Green. Again. I just cleaned some offices. Donovan smiles. We both know that's not true. He slides a document across the desk. This is a contract, official position with the FBI, training role, teaching agents your techniques. Good salary, security clearance, real identity restored. Walter looks at it, doesn't touch it. Or, Donovan continues, witness protection, permanent, new name, new life, complete anonymity, your choice. Walter thinks about his daughter, almost 13 now, growing up without roots, without stability. He thinks about his wife, who's never complained, never questioned, just followed him from town to town. He thinks about the life he could give them, if they could finally stop running. If I take the FBI job, am I safe? As safe as anyone in this line of work. That's not very safe. No, it's not. Walter picks up the contract, reads it carefully, then he pulls out a pen, signs it, not as Walter Green, not as William Grant, as his real name. The one he hasn't used in 10 years, the one that makes him real again. Donovan shakes his hand. Welcome to the FBI, Mr. Green. Thank you, sir. One more thing. Donovan pulls out another file. This is your real background. The classified version, the one Carson read. He opens it. You were never Waldemar Grunberg. You were never a Nazi collaborator. But you were someone else before Walter Green. Someone you've been hiding from. Walter nods slowly. And I don't care, Donovan says. Whatever you did before you came to America, whatever name you had, whatever you were running from, it doesn't matter. What matters is what you did here, the lives you saved, the courage you showed. He closes the file. Your secret is safe. Forever. You have my word. Walter feels something he hasn't felt in years. Relief. Can I go home now? Yes, go home. Be with your family. Take a few months. Then report for training in January. Walter stands, shakes Donovan's hand again. Sir? One question. Yes? Why me? Why trust a janitor to do all this? Donovan smiles. Because sometimes the most dangerous people are the ones nobody notices. The ones who clean up after everyone else. The ones who see everything because they're invisible. He walks Walter to the door. Go home, Mr. Green. You earned it. Walter goes home. To his family. To his daughter who finally gets to attend one school for more than 6 months. To his wife who finally gets to decorate a house they'll keep. He never becomes famous. Never gets a medal. Never sees his name in newspapers. But in January 1948, he walks into FBI headquarters as an official instructor. And for the next 20 years, he teaches agents the same lesson he learned as a janitor. Pay attention to what people throw away. Because the truth is usually in the trash, and sometimes the most ordinary skill can change the world. Walter Green dies in 1968, age 60. His obituary says he was an FBI training instructor, former immigrant, dedicated civil servant. It doesn't mention the 512 Nazi spies he caught. It doesn't mention the thousands of lives he saved. It doesn't mention that he was one of the most effective counterintelligence agents in American history, because his work was never about recognition, it was about service. And that's the greatest secret of all. If this story moved you, subscribe now. There are still so many hidden truths the world needs to know. Stories of ordinary people who did extraordinary things. Heroes who never got recognition. Sacrifices that changed history. We'll keep telling them. Every single one.